Yes, I can hear you great, and I see your PowerPoint.
Cool. That's great. Thank you, everyone, for joining this session on SASE, Secure Access Service Edge. Uh, SASE, you say SA, I say C. It's not that simple. So that's where we are in this presentation, learning more about the networking and security, the convergence of networking and security, which is going to happen as part of the SASE. But before we get started, just a quick introduction from my side. Uh, I was part of the VeloCloud and VeloCloud startup, which started off with SD-WAN, software-defined wide area networking. And when VeloCloud got acquired by VMware, that's where now I'm part of a bigger organization, VMware. I work in the technical product marketing team. I had the opportunity to publish a couple of SD-WAN books, and now the latest, which is Journey into the World of SASE. You can find it on Amazon. It's like 200 plus pages of technical concept of networking and security, starting from on-premise security to cloud security. What are the problem statements, use cases? How do you get started off with SASE? All those are covered with 100 plus diagrams in the book. I'm also part of VMware influencer list in the top 100 influencer list. I run an SD-WAN 360, a dedicated podcast show for VMware. So if you just do a Google search, you'll find my podcast with SD-WAN 360. And time to time, I invite partners, customers to share their experiences with the SD-WAN deployment or talking about various technologies. On the side, when I have time, I also run a video blogging show, which is the Tech Mantra uh, talk show with my partner. And that's where we create 5 minutes videos and we share those with our audience on different networking and security technologies. That was my introduction. So let's start with today's topic. Uh, Before we get into what is SASE, we are going to talk about the problem statement. What are the drivers, motivational drivers to get into SASE? Again, SASE is Secure Access Service Edge. Secure access, when we say, that's the security element to it. Service Edge is the networking element, and that's where the convergence is happening. Once we understand the problem statement, what is SASE, then we will look into the VMware SASE architecture and the components for VMware SASE architecture. And time to time, you can put your questions in the chat window and I can answer it, or maybe Ben or even the audience can speak up and I'll be able to answer your questions. So with that, let's get started. To understand SASE, we need to kind of understand the key building block for SASE, which is the SD-WAN, the networking piece of it. Why SD-WAN? How does VMware SD-WAN extends their platform or the fabric into the VMware SASE? Remember, VMware started off with SD-WAN and now it's getting towards the SASE. And now SD-WAN just fits into the SASE umbrella and how it is offered to their customers. So the moment we talk about SD-WAN, the first thing should come is application performance, application experience to the end customers, user experience. That's the key to it. So if somebody asks me what's the difference between WAN, wide area networking, and SD-WAN, so the first thing which should come is SD-WAN came to existence for application experience. It works at that, it has the visibility into the application. It can do those deep packet inspection and recognize what kind of an application it is. Okay, if it's a real-time application, this is what the system can offer. And even when your traffic is in path on your WAN circuits, and if there is any WAN impairment like latency, jitter, packet loss happening, it will take care of it. And then at the end of the day, the user experience will be much more richer. That's the key to software-defined wide area networking. And where this SD-WAN journey is taking into SASE, that's where SD-WAN provides that networking piece to the SASE, and then we are converging security into it. So security and networking together builds up the VMware SASE platform. Who are the target customers? I think we all know about it. And how do we offer as a cloud service through channel partners, direct sales? This is just very specific to VMware. So before we get into SASE, let's look into the problem statement. Let's look from the IT admin point of view, from the user point of view. It's very important from a user. If I'm working from home, do I need to use my home laptop or can I use my office laptop? How's that going to work out when I have to connect to an enterprise network? What kind of a software will I use which is going to be secure, which will provide me that security to connect to the enterprise network? So all those questions we are going to check out. At the same time, we will check out where the shift is happening in this enterprise networking and security design. So there are three trends we are looking at. So the first trend is application moving to the cloud. Even the data centers, you can see the virtual data center. Data centers are in the public or the private cloud. And there are some research which has been done, and you can see some numbers out here. But to kind of summarize, 83% of the enterprise workloads will be in cloud by 2020. That's what has been there by, I think, RightScale or Forbes.com. I can share the link for this survey. But there are many trends, like 27% of the respondents predict by 2022 that 95% of the load will run from the cloud. So you can see the shift is happening towards the cloud. From the data center, your apps are moving to the cloud. They are SaaS-based application, but that doesn't mean that the on-prem applications are going away. No, they are still there. So you have workloads, your applications everywhere in the cloud, in the enterprise. So as a home user or an enterprise user, I have to access these applications. At the same time, if you see with this pandemic, actually it has accelerated. It was just one reason for that acceleration. Users working from home. So when they're working from home, they're using all kinds of devices to connect to enterprise network. iPad, tablets, phone, home laptop. It's like a bring your own device. So users' locations have changed. At the same time, type of devices have increased. Even the IoT devices are getting connected to the network. So there is growth happening in that area. So with this, what's happening? So if I can use my own phone, this can be a security threat when I'm connecting it to the enterprise network. How? Because maybe this is not a managed device which I'm getting connected to the enterprise network. Not managed device here means it's not being managed and controlled by the enterprise admin. What it means is if I connect my laptop or a phone to an enterprise network, let's say using VPN, I don't have all those security updates or antivirus or anti-malware installed on my device, which can protect the enterprise network with any of the security challenges we have. So that's where the managed and unmanaged device comes to play. And with this, what we are seeing is when the users are working from anywhere, the security boundary which was there in your branch office has been dissolved. What it means has been dissolved is now I'm working from home. I'm working from Starbucks. Who's going to provide that security when I connect to the enterprise network? Who's going to provide the security when I'm using my own device? Who's going to do that security check? But at the same time, you can see this attack surface has increased. Security threats have increased, and they have become more and more complex also at the same time. So these are some of the trends to kind of summarize. Apps moving to the cloud, apps are everywhere, devices, users are also moving everywhere, and that has kind of dissolved that security parameter around your office network or home network. When you are using multiple devices, security threats have increased. So these are some of the trends which have motivated the networking and the security design. And just to reiterate that, uh, in a legacy kind of a setup from your branch site, you're sending all your traffic to the data center, to the headquarters, where you have a bulletproof next generation firewall, which can do all that security elements, or all those security features are in your data center. So you're from your, let's say, branch office, you're sending all the traffic all the way to the data center, and then you are accessing Office 365, or you're going to the public internet, or any of the SaaS application. Is that an optimized way to access these SaaS applications or internet, when I can directly go from branch to internet or SaaS application in a secure and optimized way? And that's where I'm coming to SD-WAN and security comes to play. So this shift needs to happen. This is not an optimized way. So with this, what happens is, when you have that legacy setup for an enterprise where all your branch office traffic is going to the data center, where it gets inspected and then it goes out to the destination. So from the user point of view, if I'm doing, let's say, a Zoom call or a WebEx call, poor voice and audio quality when I'm doing the business, when I'm using a business collaboration application, VPN connections are inconsistent, the connections are inconsistent. So the overall experience is not that great for the end user. So those are some of the user concerns we have. What about the IT operations? So with this pandemic, what we have seen is VPN connections have kind of doubled up, or maybe 5 times they have increased, because now everybody is working from home. Are they able to scale those many VPN connections? What about the user experience when all these users from everywhere are connecting using any device, are connecting to the enterprise network? Who's going to check on their desktop that those are being controlled, managed by enterprise? And when I say manage and control, what it means is they have the right set of security policies, endpoint security is installed and configured in a proper way, so that there is no leak of malware or anything on the enterprise network. So that's the biggest challenge for an IT operation person out there. So now that we understand the user and the IT ops kind of problem statement, what are their wish lists? What an IT op person wants? They want a single management tool where they can take care of their networking and the security needs. And then at the end of the day, making sure that they are within the compliance of an enterprise. So compliance is really key for them, apart from managing, controlling, troubleshooting from a single management station. From a user point of view, user should be able to use any device and should be able to access any application, whether it's in cloud or in the data center. It should not happen that IT admin is giving them like a cheat sheet that, hey, if you need to access application on-prem, this is how you need to do it. So you need to enable VPN. When you want to access application or internet, then you go directly, or you go this way, or you install this agent on your laptop. The key here is for the user experience should be enhanced. They should be able to use any device. They should be able to access applications across the globe in a seamless and in a secure fashion. That's very important, and that's where the networking and the security piece comes to play. So let's do a kind of a quiz out here. Yeah, Ben, any questions out there? Do I need to slow down? Is the
No,
pace okay?
you're doing great. I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay,
You can
so
keep
let's
going.
do a little quiz out here. We have understood the user we checked out the problem statement from the user point of view, from the IT operations point of view. So let's check what are some of the user concerns which are seen during the evolution of the branch or during this um, networking and security design, which will be leading us to SASE, which will be leading us to the convergence of networking and security. We need to not see security as an afterthought process. I think networking and the security team should come together, collaborate, and work on the enterprise topology. So I think one of the user concern is poor audio and video experience, inconsistent VPN. Those are some of the challenges which end users are facing. So now that we understand the problem statement, remember again, the problem statement is apps moving to the cloud. Apps are everywhere. They are also on-prem. Devices, user devices, bring your own device. Users are working from everywhere or from anywhere. At the same time, security perimeter has dissolved. Security threats have increased. So that's where we are going to talk about what is SASE. How does it relate? I mean, what's the architecture for VMware SASE? What's the VMware SASE definition of it? The SASE, SASE, is being defined by one of our analysts, which is the Gartner analyst. They have defined this or coined this definition: secure access service edge. What they say is it's the convergence of networking technologies and security technology. It's not just a single technology in networking or security. And I'll provide you with the list where they recommend that these are the must security technologies and the networking technologies working together to form a SASE framework. So SASE is a framework for networking and security. And the key here is, the key requirement is, when you're providing these bunch of technologies, it should not work like in a sequence that, okay, now the packet came, we'll apply some kind of security inspection to it, then a second security inspection, and then a third security inspection. No, that will add more latency to your traffic. The key here is, what you need to remember is, in a single pass inspection. That's the key here. So the right amount or kind of services, whether it's networking or security, should be applied to your user traffic, so that latency doesn't become the bottleneck out here. And these services, the networking and the security services, they are kind of, what's the form factor? They are virtual and they are in the cloud. So as a networking and security stack, these are kind of formed in a POP, which is the point of presence, and it's around the globe. What it means is, if I'm in San Francisco, I'll be connected to the nearest SASE POP, which will be providing me with the networking and the security services. So the SASE solution is provided by offering distributed point of presence. That's the key here. And the key here is that they are across the globe, which will provide you with the low latency. So each SASE POP is cloud native, and they have offering using the POP locations. That's the key out here when it comes to SASE. So if you ask me, what do I need to remember about SASE, or if people ask me, what is SASE? It's a framework for security and networking. There are a bunch of technologies for networking and security, and we are going to talk about those technologies or the capabilities which are provided as part of networking and security, but they are offered as a cloud native solution and as part of a POP. That's the key out here. And then this is where you can see here when it comes to networking, SD-WAN is just one piece of it. There are other services which are offered as part of networking, but SD-WAN becomes the key building block when it comes to networking. Why? Because of the application performance which is being offered by SD-WAN. And then when it comes to security, there are a bunch of security capabilities which are part of the security stacks like Cloud Access Security Broker, ZTNA, which is the secure access, zero trust, don't trust even the inside network. That's the fundamental framework for ZTNA, firewall as a service, remote browser isolation, cloud sandboxing, and many more. But these are some of the lists. So what you need to remember from the SASE point of view is the networking and the security. That's the key here for SASE. So now that we understand the SASE framework, it's a framework, it has solutions or capabilities around the networking and security. Let's get into the VMware SASE architecture out here. So this is how the VMware SASE architectures look like. Irrespective of your location, users, devices, you'll be connected to the nearest SASE POP. Again, remember these SASE services are offered in a POP in a single stack. And once these services are offered, your user traffic then goes from the SASE POP to your destination, whether your destination could be an on-prem where your applications are running, or to the public cloud or to the internet. So that's how the end-to-end flow looks like. And we are going to do a quick double click on this VMware SASE and see what all elements are covered from the networking and security point of view. So these are the elements which are part of the VMware SASE architecture. The first one being the secure access, which is based on the ZTNA model, zero trust network access. So with VMware SASE, you can see VMware is bringing the cloud networking and security together to kind of provide you with the advantage or benefits of an optimized network with SD-WAN and these security services. So to talk about security services, secure access, cloud web security, firewall as a service. These are the key elements or the key capabilities which are provided by VMware SASE from the security point of view. And then SD-WAN gateways, the SD-WAN services from the networking point of view. So as an enterprise admin, you don't have to create or have multiple management stations to configure your networking policies or troubleshoot networking issues with a single orchestrator, which is a cloud native, which is cloud-based. You can access or you can have control of your networking and security. And all these services, networking and securities, like I mentioned, is provided in a single stack, which is the point of presence. So all that in the cloud using the global presence of the VMware SASE POP. So just to give you an example, an end user sitting here on your branch office wants to access an on-prem data center applications. How are they going to leverage the SASE POP? So with the SD-WAN device, SD-WAN edge device on their branch office, they will hop on to this SD-WAN edge device and connect to the nearest SASE POP. The traffic will go to the SD-WAN gateways, and then it will get redirected to the firewall as a service where all the security inspections will be done based on your user traffic or your security policies, which has been defined by your enterprise admin. And then over the SD-WAN overlay tunnel, it will reach out to the destination. So you can see here, all your traffic is optimized and protected end to end for that data center application traffic. These are the tunnels, which are the SD-WAN overlay tunnels. The moment your application traffic goes inside the SD-WAN overlay tunnel, all that SD-WAN magic comes to play. Application performance, application detection, DMPO. That's the key to VMware SD-WAN, which is dynamic multipath optimization. So it will leverage all the circuits. So if you have from your branch office, if you have multiple WAN circuits, if one of the circuit goes down, or if there are some link conditions which can affect an application performance, then it can do link steering or some kind of an on-demand remediations. Those kind of magic will be done by the SD-WAN so that your application traffic is protected and the user experience remains intact. The user experience doesn't suffer out. That's the key here. Right. If you have an application traffic or a SaaS application, then the user traffic path would be different. It will be going, let's say, from your branch office to SD-WAN gateway, then to the cloud web security, and then to the destination. So the key here is these 4 key elements: secure access, cloud web security, firewall as a service, as part of the security piece of it, networking, the SD-WAN, all offered in a single stack for VMware SASE. And then the 4th element here being the ENI, Edge Network Intelligence, which provides you with the AI ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, which will look into your enterprise traffic end to end and then provide you with the basic thing, which is the self-healing. Anything there, Ben?
Nope.
Okay. Cool.
The only thing, someone asked if you could share the slide deck. So
Sure.
After this, if you can email me the slides, I will share it with everybody.
Yeah. Any questions here? I have more slides to share right now. We can talk about it, but I just want to make it more interactive. It's not here. I'm coming here and just presenting out. It's more of discussion, interaction to understand. The end goal is after this presentation, you should be able to kind of talk about SASE. You should be able to talk about VMware SASE. You know what's the problem statement is, what it means, and the whole framework. That's the key out here. That's the key takeaway, at least for me, when I'm doing this presentation to you. And then I think the 4th element we talked about is AI/ML, artificial intelligence, machine learning, end-to-end visibility. That's the key here, which can be used for self-healing your LAN, WAN, your wireless, basically your enterprise network end-to-end. And then the 5th element here out is for the VMware SASE is that single pane of glass view, the orchestrator where you can configure, manage, troubleshoot all your networking and security needs out here. That kind of defines the VMware SASE architecture with this 5 key components out there. And then we'll break out, we'll touch base on all these 5 elements out there. But this is how the VMware SASE offering is. So if you are traditionally working from home office, then this is where it will look like. If you are a light user, you can use the secure access software to access the SASE POP. This is how you'll be getting connected to those global POPs, which offers the networking and the security services. You can see here, these are the SASE POPs, which are offering the networking and security services. And these are around the globe. I think in this slide, I'm just showing you those 2 SASE POP, but these are around the globe. So if you are somewhere in Asia, let's say in Singapore, you'll be always connected to the nearest SASE POP. If you are a home user, a power user, then you have an SD-WAN edge device at your home, then you'll be using the SD-WAN overlay tunnel to connect to the nearest SASE POP. Or if you're working from office, it's the same thing. This SD-WAN edge device, you're connecting to the nearest POP. What benefit you get by connecting using an SD-WAN overlay is that application performance. That's the key out here. If you see your home network, when you connect using the public internet, it's not secure. It is full of latency, jitters, packet loss. Hope everybody understand these definition: latency, jitter, packet loss. If not, please ask me, and then I can kind of quickly go through them. But this is where SD-WAN is protecting you. So these are some of the multiple offerings. And like I mentioned, ENI, the AIML, it has the visibility into your enterprise network so that it can do the self-healing being just one piece of the ENI framework. So whether you're working from home, working from anywhere, working from office, VMware SASE offering comes to play. This is how I have summarized all those capabilities for VMware SASE into one single placeholder, cloud first. It's cloud native solution. That's the key here. It's not installed on your data center, or it's not part of your data center where you are backhauling all your user traffic to data center for networking and security inspection and then sending it to the destination. That's not an optimized way. That's where cloud first comes to play, cloud native approach comes to play. Assured application performance comes from the networking piece of it, the SD-WAN piece of it. And these are some of the capabilities which are related to application performance. Security is built in, where you have ZTNA, Secure Web Gateway, Cloud Access Security Broker, Cloud Sandboxing, Remote Browser Isolation, all part of the security framework inside, or the security capabilities inside the SASE POP. And when all these things are being offered, the networking and security, the key here is that everything should be, the enterprise admin or the IT ops team should be able to configure all this in a simple way. The operation simplicity should be there when it comes to the day zero and the day one configuration, or even the troubleshooting piece of it. That's where that single management plane, the orchestrator, the SASE orchestrator comes to play, where you can define, configure, troubleshoot all that networking and the security configurations out there. Some of the use cases, I think with this simplification, that's the key, where you can automate your day zero or day one operations on the WAN side. How? So the moment you have the SD-WAN edge device shipped to your remote location, let's say your branch office, you don't have to sit as an IT admin and configure each and every policy for your application. Okay, I want to use Zoom. This is how the Zoom should work. It's the smart defaults are already built into the SD-WAN solution of it, so that application assurance and performance is there, not only just for Zoom application traffic, which I just gave you an example, but for on-prem application and SaaS application also. What it also means is you can at the same time override these small smart defaults, and you can customize your application experience. So simplified WAN operation, that's where it comes to play. Even the complex operations like complex routing can be simplified, is simplified using the VMware SD-WAN orchestrator, all those BGP configuration, or let's say if I want to do branch to branch VPN, if I have to establish between 500 branches, those are with simple clicks, you can do simplified WAN operation. So this is one of the very important use case when it comes to this digital transformation, other than this application performance assurance, performance optimization, not only for just SaaS application, but even for applications which are on-prem applications, which are everywhere, providing you with that richer application experience. So let's quickly look into the first key capabilities, which is the secure access. Remember the SASE POP, the secure access is the first piece of it. Let me quickly kind of review. Let's review that. Yeah, this is what I was talking about as part of VMware SASE, the secure access piece. And then we'll go into all these 4 elements out there, which are part of the VMware SASE. Any questions? Am I going too fast? Everything okay? Ben, any questions? Or we are good to go?
We have one question out there.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, it's Glenn from Persida. We use a tool set that our CTO had patented for a lot of the utility companies, and it has its intellectual AI ops tools built in for what they call the leading indicator technology. Would that integrate, when you look at your diagram, not everybody's going to just switch everything out that they're using and adopt this. They have other tools in place. So, the API connectivity is important, to help clients kind of adapt to this, which is phenomenal. Thanks for describing it. And VMware, of course, just great solutions. But then again, it's adapting it and how it can interact with clients' tools that they already, subscribe to, and maybe they have 2 years before they can get out of it, and just the concept of feeling comfortable with it, they're going to be able to use it. For example, the SolarWinds issues is so big out there that a lot of people are ready to dump it, but it doesn't happen overnight. So they want to make sure they don't make another mistake. So tell me how this allows you to adapt tools that they continue to use while they have this deployed.
Absolutely. I think you brought up a very good point. The integration, there are many enterprises, they are using their own homegrown tools. Like you mentioned, you have your own AI ML kind of a tool in-house, built in-house, or a third party. How do we integrate that? So here with this VMware SASE solution, which is offered as a complete package, you can just use one piece of it also. You can just use the SD-WAN services, just to give you an example. You can use your own visibility tool or your own management station. How? Because our orchestrator, when I say this VMware SASE orchestrator, also supports the REST API. So you can pull information out of this network from our VMware SD-WAN orchestrator to your third-party tool. There are many service provider or MSPs, they are leveraging these orchestrator where they are pulling out the information, user information, when they open up a trouble ticket. So, for support issues, they pull out the information using the REST API calls and feed that into their system, or it's the other way around. From their third-party tool, they are pushing the information to the orchestrator, or they are leveraging the infrastructure. Or at the same time, let's say if the customer, just to give you an example, they are using the security stack or security services from Zscaler. We have our solution integration with Zscaler, where we can build up a secure tunnel to Zscaler from a branch office, so that user traffic from your branch will get redirected to Zscaler for security inspection, and then it will go out to the destination. So that integration is there, not just from the security piece of it, but from the networking, from the machine learning, artificial intelligence, or from the orchestration there. So the REST API support is out there both ways to provide you with not just with the orchestration, but with other capabilities also. Hope I have answered your question out here. So in short, yes, the REST API support is out there. You can leverage your tools. You can adapt to your tools. You don't have to give away. It's not, VMware SASE solution is not just a rip and replace out here. Make sense?
Okay. Yes. No, absolutely.
Cool. So let's quickly talk about the secure access. I know we are kind of running out of time, but please keep ask your questions, because that makes it more interactive, more discussion friendly kind of a place to talk about it. So with secure access, the key here is to use a cloud-based solution to connect to your enterprise in a secure way. It's all based on the secure access. The moment you see secure access, it's all based on ZTNA framework, which is zero trust. Don't trust even the traffic which is getting initiated from inside your enterprise network. Zero trust network access. It's all depends on your identity, context, and the resources. Sales users sales user who wants to access an Salesforce application, and users from HR wants to access a Salesforce application. So depending on their identity, the context, whether they have what kind of level or privileges they have, they will have access to the resources. Resources here in this example is that application, the Salesforce applications. Identity is the users and the devices from where they are trying to access the enterprise. That's the gist of this ZTNA, Zero Trust Network Access. It's all about identity, context, and the services, the resources. I think that's my definition of, to summarize ZTNA in this kind of a one-liner. When it comes to identity, it's the user and the device identity. Context is where the privileges comes to play. What kind of a privilege do I have on a service or a resource? Resource or services here means your applications. And this is all offered cloud-based. You don't have to install those traditional VPN concentrators in the data center and then install the VPN agent on your laptop to provide VPN services. That's not scalable. So if I'm using VPN, then I'm always connected to the data center where the VPN concentrator is, and then I go out to the web internet or to the public internet. Is that an optimized way to access resources around the globe? Not really. And that's where the first element or the first capability comes to play for SASE is the secure access, which is based on ZTNA. The second capabilities we talked about is cloud web security, which has multiple capabilities out here. So the VMware Cloud Web Security, it's a cloud hosted security service solution that will provide you, or that will help you protect users, your home user, your enterprise user against the infrastructure. Basically, it will protect your enterprise infrastructure, whether those infrastructure is web-based, on-prem based, or SaaS application based. And these are some of the capabilities: URL filtering, SSL inspection, where it can do the encryption and decryption of the traffic, remote browser isolation, CASPs, Cloud Access Security Broker, which provides you much more visibility into your user traffic, data loss prevention, perfect use case for compliance, when it comes to compliance, anti-malware, sandboxing, and there are many more. These are some of the capabilities which are provided from the security stack of it to protect your infrastructure, to provide the visibility to the IT ops team, to have that control and compliance end to end. And there are different use cases. Just to pick one here is the URL filtering. If an enterprise admin or the operation teams have decided to block social media traffic during office hours, that's where URL filtering can fit in, where as part of the SASE offering, enterprise admin can enable this URL filtering where they can block the social media traffic. So you can categorize, or you can categorize good sites versus bad sites. Gambling sites can be put into the bad sites bucket, so it will be blocked all the time. Other use case would be data loss prevention, data leak prevention. So if I'm accessing an application or a document, if I'm an enterprise user, let's say, from my office laptop, I opened up a sensitive document which is watermarked. So when the document is open, I'm trying to copy that document into my personal Google Drive. So who's going to detect that? So that will be detected by one of the security capabilities which are provided by data leak or data loss prevention. It will detect that, oh, this document is watermarked, it is sensitive. It will detect it, and then it will protect copying, or it will block that copying from the enterprise network to your Google Drive. So these are the capabilities provided by the SASE POP. And there are many examples. And that's where I think I'm also running a tech talk show, which is the Tech Mantra show. You can find it on the social media, and I'll provide the link at the end of this, where I am talking about all these features in 2 or 3 minutes with live examples, so that you'll be able to connect to what are these services for, what does CASB do, or data loss prevention do, and what are the use cases related to it. But at the end of the day, they are providing you the protection, the visibility, it gives you the control and the compliance for the enterprise network. Remember all these capabilities into the SASE POP, which is around the globe for you. So a user in Australia doesn't have to come all the way and get connected to your data center in New York so that these services can be offered. You're already adding latency by traveling around the globe. The key here is these VMware SASE POPs are around the globe, so you connect to the nearest SASE POP for networking and security services. And then comes the SD-WAN. That's where the networking services comes to play, which provides easy access, optimized access to the SaaS application onto on-prem data center, or to, let's say, public cloud, or to your private cloud. At the same time, providing you with that basic foundation for SD-WAN application performance. That's the key to it. Just a sidetrack here, real quick. I'm also checking on the time, 10 more minutes here. But if somebody asks me, what's the definition of SD-WAN, SD-WAN 101, and why I'm defining SD-WAN out here is because it's very important for you to understand what is the software-defined wide area networking is, because that's the key building block of the whole SASE framework. So, and any SD-WAN solution, actually, you should just copy paste this slide. You should be using this slide when somebody asks you, or you want to have a discussion around SD-WAN. What is SD-WAN? Any SD-WAN solution should have at least these 4 key capabilities. So what SD-WAN says is, with the SD-WAN solution, you should be able to leverage any circuit. What it means is, there is no restriction on using that. You cannot use a public internet or an LTE circuit. No, you should be able to use broadband, private circuits, LTE circuits, any kind of circuits. You can connect to your SD-WAN edge device, and you can send your user traffic. That's where that transport independence comes to play. Now, the second thing is, now that I'm sending my enterprise traffic over the public internet, is that secure? Who's going to provide me with that security? That's where secure overlay comes. What it means is an SD-WAN overlay tunnel gets created end-to-end between 2 SD-WAN edge devices. So if this is in branch side, this is at data center side. So all your application traffic can go over from this SD-WAN overlay tunnel. So any traffic which goes inside this is protected and optimized. Both the things are happening at the same time, optimized and protected by the SD-WAN overlay tunnel. So your traffic, even on public internet, is secured using multiple ways, like using the VPN application firewall, which is built in. Now that you know that your traffic, you can use any circuit, you can send over the public internet, which is also secure. Who's going to provide me with some kind of protection against latency, jitter, packet loss, which happens on the circuits? Because now I'm using public internet circuit. They are prone to going down, what we call it as blackout condition or brownout condition. Blackout condition is where if I have an edge device, let's say I have 4 internet connections, WAN connections. If one of the circuit goes down, what happens to the application traffic which was going over that circuit? Who's going to do that switch over? Who's going to detect in first place that there is such a problem out there? So all those things needs to be provided using dynamic path selection, which is DMPO is the secret sauce for VMware SD-WAN. But the key here is all that link steering, link measurement, monitoring the circuits, all those comes under the SD-WAN. So any SD-WAN solution should be able to offer you with that capability. And then at the end of the day, when you are using a technology like SD-WAN, it should be able to you should be able to it should have a simple interface, simple usage. It should not be complicated. If I'm sending this drop shipping this edge device, SD-WAN edge device to a, let's say, a remote branch location, a retail location, and then you have to call an IT expert. No, here with simple interface or with simple configuration, you should be able to bring it up quickly, and then have the support of REST API where you can integrate or adapt, like we talked about earlier. It should be able to integrate with other technologies or with other tools also. So these are the 4 key pillars of SD-WAN. I thought that I should have talked about this SD-WAN one-on-one when it comes to VMware SASE. And this is how the VMware SASE architecture looks like. We can skip this slide for now, but the key here is there are 3 key elements or components to VMware SD-WAN, one being the orchestrator, the management plane, the data plane where these SD-WAN edge devices are in the branch side or data center side, and then the gateways, which provides you with those SD-WAN capabilities. And remember, now these gateways are part of the SASE POP. Earlier, these SD-WAN gateways just used to provide with the networking services, which is the SD-WAN services. But now, as they have become part of SASE, they have extended their services into other security offering. This is how it looks like. The SD-WAN POP includes the SD-WAN gateway, but now with the SASE offering, these SD-WAN gateways have other security services, which we talked about, like secure access, cloud web security, firewall as a service, all those things. And then the last piece is ENI, where that artificial intelligence, machine learning comes to play, which provides you with actionable intelligence to ensure that the end user and these IoT devices, which are part of your enterprise network, you have the visibility into that. So it can tap into your wireless LAN, your LAN network services, IoT devices, applications, and it can create a baseline out of it. It can measure on day one, and it can create a baseline. And then if there is any anomaly, or there is a peak in user traffic or in any of these services, then it can help you with remediation techniques, can recommend you. So this is a basic step 1, 2, 3, 4 for any AI/ML engine. But the key here is to provide you with that deep insight and self-healing. That's the key to ENI, and this ENI is part of the VMware SASE POP offering here. So let's check our understanding on the VMware SD-WAN. So what are the following 3 main differentiators for VMware SD-WAN? Remember, the key here is application performance. That's the key here. Simplification comes to play, yes, but application performance is the key here. So just to kind of quickly summarize, we are moving away the services from your branch or your on-prem data center into the cloud. That's where this transformation is happening, from a thin edge to thick cloud. All those security services, networking services, which were part of on-prem infrastructure, they have now been moving to the cloud. And you can see here, SD-WAN, secure access, web security, ENI, all are becoming part of it. This is just a screenshot of our new orchestrator, which provides you with all the networking and the security services in a single place. Remember, you want to have a single pane glass of your 360-degree view of your entire network. You should not be using multiple tools to access networking services or security services out there. So key here when it comes to any SASE solution, or to be very specific, VMware SASE, cloud first, cloud native approach, security and networking built into it. When we talk about networking, I think application performance is the key out here. This is just to summarize on those 4 bullet points, and I'll share this slide deck with the audience out here. But these are some of the key takeaways. Now, you want to learn more about VMware SD-WAN, or you want to do some hands-on, then yes, there are some hands-on lab exercises related to VMware SD-WAN, and you can just do a Google search, register yourself into the VMware site, and you can get started off with your SD-WAN journey. I have some YouTube videos, live videos, which I have done with a third-party vendor, where I go in details on SD-WAN. There are like 4 or 5 episodes. Each is like 30 to 45 minutes, where we do some live demos. I do live demos with the vendor, where, to an SD-WAN edge device, multiple WAN circuits connected. We pull out one cable during a live Zoom call, and we see that the Zoom call remain intact. It doesn't get disconnected. All this is just one use case. So that's where we talk about more use cases in this SD-WAN. Then, like, I talk about my talk show, which is the Tech Mantra talk show. If you just do a Tech Mantra, I think I should be able to show that you out here. So these are some of the episodes which have been released out here. You can see here, what is SASE, why we use that, how do enterprise would consume SASE, cloud web security. All those things are discussed in these small video chunks, which are like 5 to 7 minutes around. This is one other resource. And you want to know more about VMware SASE, then you can go to this website and you can know more about VMware SASE offering. For today, any questions, any more information you need, you can reach out to me. I'm on social media. You can do a search and you can find out. You can reach out to me over LinkedIn or Twitter. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Hope you have learned about SD-WAN. What is SASE? It's not that just simple. You say SA and I say C, and that becomes SASE. It's a framework. I think that's what I have. Thank you. Over to you, Ben.